Welcome to another episode of 5 Minute Salute, a program sponsored by the Firewatch and focused on the great things that our veterans are doing here in Northeast Florida. I'm Nick Howland, your host and also Executive Director of the Firewatch, and what we try to learn from these shows are tips for other veterans that might be out there looking to start businesses, own or run or operate businesses, or looking to transition out of the service. We have a great guest with us today, Andy Hesterman of Hesterman Motorworks. Andy, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Hesterman Motorworks.
It has evolved over time a little bit, but the focus right now is building custom cars, specifically Smith Performance kits to make VWs into pickups.
So VW Beetles into pickups?
And we're not talking about the classic old air coolers.
Yeah.
We're talking about 99 to 2010 era.
Oh, awesome. And there's a big market for this in Northeast Florida, or do you cover the Southeast? Is there a region that you focus on?
All over.
Okay.
All over. I've sent them, the last one went to Hawaii.
No way.
They go, I've sent one to Canada, so I'm actually international.
Yeah. Awesome. And how many employees do you have at Hesterman?
One, me.
One, and then some contractors when you need them to help?
Occasionally.
Yeah,
Most of it I do myself. I sub out sometimes for paint.
Oh, fantastic. How long have you been doing it?
About 2 years.
Okay. And for all of our watchers here on the show, you are a Marine, and I failed to mention that in the intro, but once a Marine, always a Marine. Tell me about your service in the Marine Corps.
I joined in 1987.
Yep.
Retired in the end of 12, so my date's actually 13. But
Okay,
so 12. I was originally enlisted as a radio man.
Yep.
Went into the reserves still as a radio man. Got my degree and came back, went to OCS and became a Huey pilot.
Got commissioned and then became a Huey pilot. Wow,
Exactly.
Fantastic. So Huey pilot in the reserves, or then active duty again? Yeah. So overall, you've ended up retiring.
22 years active duty and 4 or so reserve there.
Okay, so radioman and then Huey pilot. So obviously you probably like to work with your hands. Is that how you found yourself starting Hesterman Motorworks?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
But you've only been doing it 2 years and you got out some time ago. So there was an interim job you had in there. Tell us about that.
Actually there were several.
Several, okay.
And both, for those that know, Radio Man and Huey Pilot have a lot more parallels than you realize.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Okay.
That's a little bit of a subliminal motto for me.
Sure.
So jobs that I've had, I worked 2 years as a jet ski mechanic for a small shop that's kind of down the road from where I live.
Yep.
I worked for 2 years as a home repair, home customization. Remodel your kitchen, your bathroom, or you got wood rot on your door frame, whatever. We kind of did it all.
Yep.
Both of those were small businesses, 2 or 3 employees, and it was a dual function. One, I had to pay bills while I was trying to get my own stuff going, right?
Sure.
2 was research. It really, not like you think of typical research, but seeing how small business works, how much time is invested, how do you deal with this and that, billing, licensing, all that stuff. Both of those owners were very good to me. Not only did I work, but then I'd be like, hey, how do you handle da-da-da-da-da? And they were very sharing for both of those gentlemen. So I learned a ton from both of those guys. And that helps me now as I'm doing it myself.
As an entrepreneur, running your own business built on tinkering like you did in the past.
Exactly.
So is that a lesson that you would impart
Most
on
definitely.
veterans looking to transition, and particularly entrepreneurial ones?
I would say there's two pieces there.
Yeah.
And kind of rewinding a little bit, another thing that we haven't mentioned is don't fall victim to the grass is always greener.
Yes.
Service to civilian side or working for somebody else versus working for yourself.
Okay.
You are going to work way more hours. You're going to be the hardest boss you ever had.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur working for yourself.
Yep.
It gives you a lot of flexibility. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Sure.
Not at all.
A lot of risk, but a lot of reward.
Right. When you're risking everything, it's your stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of work. Yeah.
So don't be afraid to work for somebody else for a little bit, whether it's 6 months or a year or 5 years. You learn a lot. You're risking their stuff, but you get to go home at night, and it's not, oh, did I pay that bill? How am I going to,
Right. Right.
So, and I got off the point you were really asking.
Which is the lesson of learning all of that and how that translates into being an entrepreneur. it's
Yeah.
why not start working for someone else, learning the lessons that you can then leverage
Sure.
when you open your own.
It also you'll also learn some of the industry. So the closer the industry that you're thinking about, the better in general.
Yes.
Because if you really want to make a successful personal business, small business, you got to find, you either have to do it better, different, faster, or cheaper
Yep.
than everybody else
Yep.
to blossom.
Yep.
So working for another company in a similar business can help you learn. It's hard to do market research on your own with no connection.
Right. Help you learn how to do it better, faster, cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's three-pronged maybe.
Yeah.
But so you can learn about the industry and the markets and such, but you can also learn the functions of running a small business because it can be complicated.
Right.
And there's stuff that can bite you in the hiney.
Any future plans to expand a lot of the work that Hesterman Motorworks does with kits and conversions?
Yes, but
none you want to talk about?
It'll be small steps.
Yeah.
You always got to be ready for that next phase.
Yeah.
At some point, the market gets saturated. This is such a small niche
Right.
that at some point, I may not have enough to, pay and I've got 2 kids in college right now. So,
Sure. So yet another lesson you've probably learned by working for other people in the past in similar industries. So what a fantastic thought. Yeah. And how applicable. Amazingly applicable.
I have 3 or 4, you always have, as an entrepreneur, you always have 3 or 4 irons in the fire.
Right.
So on the side, I'm doing YouTube videos. I do both of what I build and then kind of automotive repair.
Yeah.
It's not a big money maker, but it does make a little bit.
Yep.
And that there's huge inertia in that. Your first year, whether it's YouTube or whatever social media, you're really not going to make any money at it.
Yeah.
You have to establish yourself first.
Right.
But so that's in the works. I have a book that's coming out in May.
Yeah.
I actually found a publisher, so there's another. So I have all these different branches, but Hesterman Motorworks is my focus. I am toying with electric.
Okay.
Seems to be a
vehicle
huge
electric
piece
work
of the automotive industry. So let's get in on it.
Well, then let's send a message to all veterans to support Hesterman Motorworks, because if they have work to do with their Volkswagens and want to convert them, or in the future do electric, they know where to go. Let's keep it in the family, veterans, right? So how can people find out about you and about Hesterman Motorworks?
Instagram, Facebook are both Hesterman Motorworks. YouTube channel's Hesterman Motorworks. And then I have a website that is hestermanmotorworks.com.
Yep.
2 N's in Hesterman, and works is spelled the old German style because VW is
W-E-R-K-S.
E-R-K-S.
Yeah, very good. Andy, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for what you're doing. With the
Firewatch
watch stander.
Yeah.
That very easy, great information, very similar to what you may have done in the military already. Just opening your eyes, and it's a problem we need to address.
Being vigilant to the concerns of veterans and helping a veteran get resources that they need.
That's a huge network. Yep. There's another plug. Networking with veterans is huge, and that everything is timing and who you know.
Absolutely.
Right? For the big success. So
absolutely.
Don't be afraid to network. There's tons of organizations. VOB, veteran-owned businesses.
Yep.
VRV, veterans referring veterans.
Yep.
I've got a number of friends, and we all plug each other and help each other out.
And folks can find that at thefirewatch.org. Look at our resources guide and see all the veterans support organizations there are. Well, Andy, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you again for joining us on another edition of 5 Minute Salute. I'm Nick Howland. We had our guest, Andy Hesterman. That was a wonderful segment, and we hope you enjoy it. In the meantime, visit thefirewatch.org. We are leading the way in veteran suicide prevention, and there's a role for everybody. Thanks again.